Hi guys, this is Miguel Oliveira, and if you like this video, click here and click here for more.
Will soon go out to start the race. It has unique characteristics, and Marc Marquez has shown he knows how to adapt to them better than anyone else. He's in pole position in the race that will start in a few moments.
Close, they forced their way through the double chicane for the... So Aleix Espargaro now at the inside of Fabio Quartararo. Then it's not been the start, as Lewis mentioned, that Quartararo did all needed. Bad start for Quartararo. He's going to be a great start by Rins there as well.
Sensational start from Taka Nakagami. He's just been passed by Juan Mir, so the Suzuki's on the move. Aleix Espargaro then up the inside of Nakagami, and
Nakagami into turn number 12. Nakagami though says no, you're not having that. He tries to fight straight back. Quartararo gets hung out.
Darko's having to go with the pair of them.
Oh, that was really aggressive. Taka Nakagami gets properly touched out. Watch for KTM. He has the collision, I think it was with Johan Zarco, wasn't it? Directly ahead of him going through La Chapelle. Somehow they both stay upright.
And a half of this Grand Prix, but perfect for Ducati. They've got the front of the Grand Prix at the moment with G.
Aleix Espargaro is faring better than his teammate Maverick Vinales. Just had another disaster. Vinales at the end of lap 1 was dead last. His Ducati will not be easy though to find a way through on Mir and Bastianini as he winds out Aprilia up to top gear, 6th gear, well over Alex Rins. Well, we saw big moments in practice, didn't we? But Johan, he got a real big whack on the right side of the head there as well with Alex Rins. Let's hope he's okay. So they're now back at the front. Jack Miller and Pecco Bagnaia exchange fast in Gaia.
Don't rule out the world champion yet. Fabio Quartararo for the home crowd has just passed Marc Marquez. You can see him at the back of the screen. Quartararo in 6th position. He did it for
nearly 200 miles an hour. Super scary. Happy that it looks like Alex Rins is okay. In fact, he's joined the race somehow on that wide going through the museum corner, or did Bagnaia push him out wide? What's not in any doubt though is Pecco Bagnaia the pole.
Benny Gardner's miserable weekend. He was praying for some pretty extreme weather today. He didn't get it, and his Grand Prix ended on lap 4.
Fabio Quartararo is going to be when he's got clear track ahead of him. He is in such complete control. He's bulletproof mentally. Very rarely makes mistakes down as quickly as Bagnaia on the inside line. That just cost him that crucial drive. And once Bagnaia got to the front, already he's starting to stretch his legs here. He's built up an advantage to see the gap between the two factory Ducati men as they come into turns 9 and 10 for the 5th time of asking. But it might well.
And Quartararo, though, the only rider on track at the moment in the 131s. A personal best for Quartararo, 131.947. He was actually half a second quicker than the leader.
Get himself back into victory contention here in front of a full house, a capacity crowd here in Le Mans who've enjoyed a dramatic start. Successive mistakes in 2 corners, 7 and 8 for Aleix Espargaro there on the factory at Aprilia on the 19th place last time out in Jerez, and then that big scare, the run-off going into
the big loser off the line. That half second that he gained, he lost back again with that moment up behind Aleix, and he's now once again 3.3 seconds off the lead.
Yellow flags are back out of the circuit, so it's been a day to forget for Hervé Fonterra's Tech 3 team here on home turf. Back with your
quartet, you can see Aleix Espargaro regrouping from those 2 mistakes we saw while we were on board in on the riders ahead of him, but the pace is pretty quick. They're all lapping in the low 32s with the exception of Aleix.
Got more yellow conditions about struggling to manage that front tyre on the factory Suzuki at the moment, directly ahead of him after those mistakes a couple laps to go into turns 7 and 8. Aleix Espargaro's managed to regroup.
Closing right in on the back of Joan Mir. It looks at the moment as if we're heading for 2 trios up at the front of this race.
So place to Martin just now, slipping back a little, but Remy Gardner lost one on the same machine. The bike comes down on an angle and gets really unstable. He said he'd be better off to reach over and
on slick tyres. One wing, no problem for Binder.
No problem at all. Jack Miller looked like he got a little for second place. Has he got an answer for his fellow Italian out front?
Well, we're in France and it's a feeling of deja vu right now for Jack Miller, because that so unfolds. Contrasting riding styles, 2 completely different Ducatis, of course. Bagnaia on the latest spec GP22, but not a lap here. Lap 10 done and dusted here in Le Mans. It will still be Pecco Bagnaia.
Parker running in 8th at the moment, ahead of Nakagami. Jorge Martin has not made any progress from the grid position that he started from. He's down in 10th.
Quite a few overtaking opportunities, but nowadays in MotoGP with the Bastianini, Mir, Aleix Espargaro and Quartararo to find a way through to race for the lead with Pecco Bagnaia. Davide Tardozzi just looked there for a fraction of a second that Pecco Bagnaia was a little bit offline, a little bit wide through La Chapelle. You know what's happening here, and Air Bastianini can just see Pecco Bagnaia just eking
the back of this leading trio. It's almost a 6-rider tray now at the front of this field. It'll be interesting to see the lap times as they now come out with him. And Joan Zarco once again another personal best. He's the fastest rider on track right now.
Just wonder whether Pecco Bagnaia may just have rolled out of it ever so slightly for
further pressure at the moment from Joan Mir, although Joan Mir is gradually closing in on the back of
again coming under a little bit more pressure from Fabio Quartararo, who's able to cut that tighter line using the agility of the factory Yamaha down through La Chapelle. Espargaro certainly on course for Aprilia's best ever result here in Le Mans. That was Noriyuki Haga, well, what a turbulent 2 weeks today here for the factory Suzuki team. Mir out of 4th place.
So that promotes Aleix Espargaro up into 4th position. Then Fabio Quartararo now. Aleix Espargaro had such good race pace 2 weeks ago in Jerez. Can he now close the gap to this trio of Ducatis out front? Because you just know...
Comes to the start-finish line to kick off lap number 16. And Air Bastianini on that last lap had a really good lap on that year-old Jeep. It's Jack Miller just running out of steam here towards the latter stages, picking up the baton from Valentino Rossi, destined to be MotoGP World Champions in the future maybe, until he's not had
a better line, gradually getting closer to the back of the number 93 Honda. Is he going to have a little bit of a go? There's a ever so
Marquez then runs wide at La Chapelle. You can hear what the French fans thought of that as Joan Zarco says thank you very much. Sitting in the middle of the Dunlop chicane at the end of a qualifying session when he knew riders would be on fast laps. That cost him on. Yeah, the bike's on fire as well. He's urging the Marshal Jorge Martin. Better days will be on the horizon for him, but it's another very disappointing day for the Prema Ducati man.
He's battling with before, of course. Cast your minds back to the Austin Grand Prix, as Matt mentioned. Jack Miller was the rider that day.
To go then, and it is now a battle between Bagnaia and Bastianini. Will the beast...
Quartararo never really got as close as this in the Grand Prix at Jerez, but he doesn't have the straight line speed to really battle with a
third sector. That's where he's able to just eke out a little bit more time on Aleix Espargaro. Aleix Espargaro got within about 6/10 through the first 2.
We saw it in Austin, how he was just able to set personal best laps at the end of Grand Prix. Here's Fabio Quartararo then.
Side on the Gresini Ducati into the Dunlop chicane. He'll have that inside line. I don't think he's in a little bit wide though, isn't he? Through La Chapelle into turn number 6. Bagnaia's got it hot. Bagnaia's been pushed into a rare mistake. Well, he has buckled.
To garage there, that's a corner that's cost riders MotoGP victories before.
Somebody's down. Well, can you believe it?
What a miserable...
Wow.
Race weekend comes to a close with the end of the MotoGP race. The back live from the circuit for the podium ceremony. These three guys put in a truly outstanding race and they really deserve all the acclaim the crowd is giving them from the stands.